All right, I just got back from Essex, finally picked up the grapple replacement. I also got a new bucket for the Wolfe Ridge bagging station. Now, this is the replacement that Vernig had sent me for the skeleton grapple that I had bent pretty bad, just moving some logs around the Woodyard. This one here is the rock grapple. The difference is you've got about double the tines, and you've also got this reinforced side plate. So between those two things, this is going to be a lot stronger and will hopefully hold up to what I need it for. And that is primarily moving logs and moving rounds around. A little bit of rock, but mainly for moving logs. Now, I'm not going to get this together today. So the clamps, I have to swap off of the skeleton grapple onto this one. They are a direct replacement. But it is absolutely beautiful outside today. I don't want to waste my time doing that right now because I want to get to some wood splitting. So it's supposed to rain this weekend. I will just park this in the carport for right now and do this on a rainy day. What I am going to do right now, though, is swap the buckets on the Wolfe Ridge bagging station. So over here, I've got, when I first bought this bagging station, I got it with the 1 1/4 cubic foot bucket, and I got it with the 0.75 cubic foot bucket. I like to sell oversized firewood bags. It's one way I stand out in firewood sales. But it has been increasingly hard to find bags the right size to fit over top of this. These are the standard 1 cubic foot bags. I get these from Northern Woodsman. These are really easy to get. Now, they will fit, but it is a tight fit. And I actually broke this bucket. There's a nut inside here, and there's 2 welds that hold that on. Well, one of those welds broke off, so I just need to get it welded again. But I thought it was a good time to just replace it. So you can see, you can just barely work this bag over top of the bucket. And I didn't mind at first, but it just got to a point where it was annoying. So I decided to, once this one broke, just go with the standard 1 cubic foot bag. Slides right over, no problem. All right, now the size difference, besides the cubic footage, is exactly 1 inch. So this 1 1/4 cubic foot bucket is 12 1/4 inches wide. The 1 cubic foot bucket, I'm sorry, the 1 cubic foot is 12 1/4. The 1 1/4 cubic foot bucket is 13 1/4. So exactly 1 inch difference in diameter between these two. I'm still going to continue to sell oversized bags. So what I usually do is when I fill this bucket, take the bag off, and I usually put 1 more piece in. So when I tie my bags tight, they just don't quite close all the way. With the smaller bucket, I'm probably gonna have to put in 2, maybe 3 more pieces. Not that big of a deal. It's just gonna be much nicer throwing that bag over top instead of constantly struggling to get those bags over this big bucket. So we'll get this thing off and get these replaced. All right, let's see. That's good. Good. Gave this thing a little tweak, and I think we're all set. let's load up a bag of firewood. All right, I'm curious to see just how much nicer this is. We'll do 2 bags. I got 10 pieces in there. I usually do about, and I'm already not used to doing that. Jeez. 10, what did I say? 10 pieces, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 10 pieces. I'm usually somewhere around 12 to 14. There's 12. Do. I did 2 smaller ones to get to 14. There it is. So I added 4 pieces to that one. Probably could have got away with 3 normal size pieces. With the other bucket, like I said, I was doing somewhere between 1 and 2 extra pieces. So pretty much exactly what I guessed. I was going to have to add with the smaller bucket. And that is going to be a-okay with me, because let me tell you, just doing that first one, throwing that bucket on there, throwing that bag on there is so much nicer than trying to fight that bag on. Let's see if I can catch it this time. And a lot of times what would happen too, with the bigger bucket, that 1 1/4 cubic foot, you could barely get the bag on past the label. And if you weren't exactly perfect, the wood, some of the logs would catch and pop out as you were flipping the bucket over. This one, you know, you've got the bag slides all the way on. That does not happen. I can transfer the bag right over here. There we go. 1. 2. Some of these are split a little bit bigger than what I normally do. 3. This one's going to be good at 3. All right, so 3 in that one. Let's do one more. That one got 2 extra. Good to go. I'll tell you what, that is a whole lot nicer. So, you know, yeah, I like selling oversized bags. I really thought that 1 1/4 cubic foot bag would work. And when I first bought that, Wolfe Ridge was able to get the bags. They get them from Northern Woodsman, and Northern Woodsman was selling bags that fit over top of that bigger bucket, but they have since stopped carrying them. So you might be able to find a supplier out there that has them. You can probably even get somebody to custom make them if you order enough at one time. But this, for now, for me, is definitely the way to go. So I would suggest when you buy this bagging station, just get it with the 1 cubic foot bucket. Makes life a whole lot easier because, like I said, you can pick up these bags anywhere. You can get them on Amazon. There's multiple different suppliers that sell that exact size bag, and Northern Woodsman usually has a pretty good supply, and their prices are not too bad. So there it is. All right, we are going to finish off the day by splitting this pile of cherry wood right behind me here. Split this big ugly thing first. I think that's going to wrap things up for today. We got a pretty nice pile. I got all that cherry split. I got this area cleaned up again, so ready to bring a fresh load of logs down. I'll get this stacked. I think I'm going to have, I don't know, maybe a basket and a half laying here. I've got 2 more big baskets left, and then I'm gonna have to start stacking in rows. But once I get this done, I think I'm gonna start focusing on that retaining wall. Really want to get that area done before it starts snowing, get that cleaned up there, and make the room I want to store all my baskets for the winter time. So all right guys, I appreciate y'all being here. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next one.